This is my TEL 340 project based on Scales Technology Academy located in Tempe, Arizona. Here's my table of contents, three chapters. The first chapter, which is classroom exploration. And current question was how do relationships within the classroom between students, peers, and teachers contribute to or hinder the development of a supportive learning environment? The first theme I hit on was student voice and ownership. I talked about how there's a student-led grammar lesson at the end of the day where the student teaches their peers in their own words. The teacher provides guidance and positive feedback. Second theme, which is peer collaboration and classroom community. My mentor teacher shares that she intentionally creates small reading groups based on both students' academic levels and how they work together. Same with the seating charts, pairing a lot of ELL students with their peers who also speak their native language to help guide them and give them support throughout the lessons. The third theme, which is positive reinforcement, I talked about the power on behavior system that encourages desired behaviors and teaches students the importance of accountability and kindness. I then answered the reflection question, which how does the collective data inform you on the diversity found among the families represented at the school and the cultural context in which they live? The second question, which is how does this data help you critically examine the ways the school settings incorporate and value families and communities? Inquiry question, I answered that. And then here are my references for data and images. Second chapter, which is exploration of the school, the inquiry question, which is what are the key factors within the school environment that shape student experiences and outcomes? The first thing that I focused on was school demographics. I touched a lot on how there are 88.5% of the students identify as minorities, and 77% are economically disadvantaged. The second theme, which is community collaboration for student success, values collaboration and community as essential to student success. They work with 250 plus community partners that offer mentorships, resources, and enrichment for the students. The third thing, which is student supports and services, scales provide extensive supports for academic, emotional, and physical well-being, including counseling, health services, nutrition, before and after school care. One that I focused on too was Kids Zone Enrichment Program, which is a before and after school care that works with a lot of Tempe schools. And then I answered the reflection question, which is how does this collected data inform you of the diversity found among the families represented at the school and the cultural context in which they live? Second reflection question, which is how does this data help you critically examine the ways the school settings incorporate and value families and communities? And then I also answered the inquiry question, references for data and images, chapter 3, which is exploration of contents and communities. The inquiry question, which is how might the culture, economic, and social characteristics of the community in which the school is located impact student learning and development? The first thing that I touched on was community diversity and family backgrounds in the Tempe community. Um, as we see the ethnic composition of Tempe, Arizona, a majority is 52.5%, which are white and non-Hispanics, which do differ from the student population at Scales, which is 88% diverse. I talk about the differences of both diversity groups. Um, at Scales, it's important that these teachers keep in mind and create lessons to reflect students' cultures in their school and make sure information is accessible to all families. The second theme I touched on was economic conditions in the community. Talked about the median household income in Tempe, $78,000. Scales does offer for every type of family. They offer free and reduced lunch, um, before and after school care and partnerships that help connect families with community resources. I then talked about the community safety and access to local services. Tempe has a vast variety of different resources for any type of situation, for any type of student or family. I then answered two reflection questions as well. I also answered the inquiry question, resources. The chapter 4 is an analysis of a context, and career question, which ways the interaction between a student's home life, school life, and community environment influence their overall development and academic success. I go over mesosystem, chronosystem, and then holistic interaction review, even implications. I then answer the inquiry question on the chapter. Here are the resources. Chapter 5 is then future thinking reflection and the read aloud, which is going to be on this last line we'll be watching right now. The inquiry question on this one is how can teachers use their understanding of the Bronfenbrenner's bioecological system theory to adapt their teaching practices to better meet the needs of students within their specific context. The first section is identify professional development goals. I learned how closely the classroom, school, and community connect to student success. These five professional goals represent how I plan as an educator who can build culturally responsive relationships across all domains. I want to build stronger family communication systems by using multiple platforms. I want to integrate culturally responsive teaching practices that honor students' diverse backgrounds and experiences in classroom lessons discussions. I want to collaborate regularly with colleagues and community partners to connect classroom learning with real world applications. I want to strengthen my behavior support strategies through positive reinforcements. And I want to engage in continuous reflection and professional learning related to equity, inclusion, and family engagement, and to remain adaptable and aware of changing student and community needs. The second section, which is ways of being as an educator. I always come back to the idea of relationships, building strong, trusting connections across all the community, school, and classrooms is essential for student success. In the community aspects, I want to attend school or city events, connect with the families, and learn more about the families and the community outside of school. I then also in school, I want to collaborate regularly with colleagues and staff to align expectations and share student successes. In the classroom, I want to use class meetings and routines to encourage student voice and reflection. And the third section, which is actionable strategies for influence, I focus on how I can take real intentional actions to strengthen the connection between the classroom, school, and community. I said that host family learning nights, or classroom showcases celebrate student work and strengthen family and school connections. Use community partnerships to bring real world learning to the classroom. Maintain open communications loops by sharing updates and feedbacks among families, teachers, and communities. Incorporate student leadership roles that promote peer collaboration, and advocate for inclusive practices that ensure family has access to school information regardless of language or technology barriers. That's my presentation. Thank you so much.